One, two, 1, 2, 3, 4.
My name's Steve Gammon. I'm the supervisor of Wompatuck State Park. I've worked here for almost 40 years, and I supervise Wompatuck and Ames, Knoll, over in Abington, and a couple of other satellite parks. Wompatuck Chief Josiah Wompatuck deeded some of this land and lands around the area to the early settlers, and that's why it's named Wompatuck State Park. Yeah, the state got the deed to the park in 1967 from the United States government. Before 1967, it was used as a naval ammunition depot since 1941. It's got that long military history. You can see a lot of that as you walk around the park. Between 1967 and 1973, the park as you know it now was developed. The campgrounds was built, and the visitor center, and all the nice roadways and trailways were all put in. We've got a lot of wildlife. There is a lot of deer in Wompatuck. There's red fox, there's river otter, there's bobcat, and then a number of other small animals that you'd recognize, woodchucks and squirrels and things like that. One of the biggest activities in Wompatuck is, of course, camping. We have 262 campsites open right now. Some of them are RV sites with electrical hookups, and we have a sewer dumping station for RVs. The camping area is open from about the beginning of May to the middle of October. Also, we have a lot of day use going on here, and a lot of that is mountain biking. We've got a huge mountain bike system in here, and it's one of the best mountain bike spots in New England to come to. Wompatuck hosts the Friends of Wompatuck Landmine Classic every year. It's the second biggest mountain bike race in New England, and all the money raised goes directly into Wompatuck. Other activities, we have kayaking and canoeing and fishing on the Arun Reservoir. There are trails for equestrians. We don't rent horses here, but if you have your own, you can certainly bring them here, and we have a big route for them. We have Mount Blue Spring, where you can get free spring water. It's one of the last free things that you can get around here. And people come from long distances to get that. The water quality is very pure. It's tested regularly and really never fails a test. Well, the folks that work here, we work out of a district office because of a new management plan that DCR has. So I get a little more help these days from those folks. We have a district ranger that's a big help over here. But staff on site, during the wintertime, there's 3 of us on duty, whereas in the summertime, there's about 18 of us. So we have a large seasonal staff to help out. But we have an awful lot of volunteer help through the Friends of Wompatuck, and they do a lot of trail work, trail maintenance, but they also raise money for programs for kids. This summer we had some programs put on by South Shore Natural Science Center and paid for by the Friends of Wompatuck. It was a really nice thing. We do a lot of Eagle Scout projects here, and the reason why we do is because we have a scout area, and kids from a very early age start scouting in Wompatuck. They grow to love Wompatuck, and they almost always choose Wompatuck to do their Eagle Scout project. They've done a lot of trail work, bridge building. In the past couple of years, a couple of equestrian bridges, which are really heavy-duty bridges, fencing, wood duck houses, anything that you can imagine that goes on out in the woods, Eagle Scouts will do. In the future, we'd like to connect the rail trail to the Cohasset train station. That project's already been started. DCR has plans to continue that, to demolish some old military buildings so that trail can be hooked up. That'll give access to people from the city to take trains down to Wompatuck and hike or ride their bike through. Also, for local people in the area to ride their bike through Wompatuck and commute to Boston. Some great spots in Wompatuck. You know, we have the South Field. It's a really nice big field, about 5 acres, and lots of groups use it for different activities, but it's a nice wide open field. Holly Pond is also a nice place you can walk down from the back of the campground. It's a smaller pond. REI made a donation to the Friends of Wompatuck, and two docks were built out of it, one on Holly Pond and one on the reservoir. The Aaron Reservoir was filled in 1978, and it's about 82 acres, and it's just a beautiful site. There's trails all around it and really nice hiking around that area. Wompatuck is a unique park because, you know, here it is, this 3,500 acres in the middle of really urban sprawl and suburbia, and you don't find that too often. So right next to your home is really a beautiful park where you can get out in the middle of Wompatuck and you really think you're in New Hampshire or Maine or something like that. It's just such a great local thing to do.
Hi, I'm Bill Bowles. I am president of the Friends of Wompatuck State Park, a longtime park user, and quite pleased with our organization and with the park that we all get to enjoy.
I'm Steve Cobble. I'm also a longtime park user from the South Shore, and I've used the park in many different ways. I ride a mountain bike primarily, but I also I like to come here with my kids. I've done some camping, fishing, all kinds of activities here. I was one of the founding members of Friends of Wompatuck. I'm not on the board right now officially, but I still participate in a lot of the activities.
Most of the members of the Friends of Wompatuck are not mountain bikers, but the Friends actually started as an outgrowth of the New England Mountain Bike Association. We were in here as many as 20 years ago, improving trails, working with the rangers, when Steve Gammon, the park supervisor, came up with the idea of, expanding community participation by involving more people. That makes total sense. Mountain bikers are mostly interested in trails. Over the years, we've built 37 bridges across wet spots, wetlands, and replacing disintegrating bridges from the past. If you go back 20 years, there was maybe 12 miles of usable trail. Those trails were used by hikers, equestrians, mountain bikers. Now there's over 36 miles of really good trails that are used by everybody. I should mention that there are 12 miles of paved bicycle paths, totally traffic-free here in the park that people enjoy. That there are, as I said earlier, over 30 miles of trails, dirt trails. There are 200 campgrounds, many of which have full electric hookups. Wompatuck has got to be one of the most popular places on the South Shore to bring your dog to go for a walk. And at any time that you're here, you'll see a parking lot full of cars. People, especially senior citizens, just wander in and come and enjoy this place. Friends of Wompatuck is a group of citizens who are interested in not only maintaining the wonderful park that we have, but in improving it. As you may be aware, the Department of Conservation and Recreation has seen severe budget and staffing problems over the last 4 or 5 years. The state does not have enough money to keep the park up to the potential that Wompatuck offers. What we do as friends, we try and raise money primarily to do some of the things that the state can't do. My hat is about to blow off, but that's fine. For instance, right here as you walk into the visitor center, you'll see that the pavement leading into the front entrance has been improved. We did that. We found that it was not handicap access and the cement was breaking up. This has been a problem that had gone on for years, and it just wasn't something the DCR could prioritize. We paid to have it fixed. The road running through the park was so potholed a year ago that it was almost dangerous to drive on it. If you were going to the campground at night, your front wheel could go into a pothole. You could literally have found yourself with your camper, with your kids, in the woods. Needless to say, if you were a 10-year-old kid on a small-wheeled bicycle and riding down that road and you went into one of those potholes, this would be a serious situation. So the Friends paid to have all of the potholes filled. This is something that the DCR would have done without thinking about it 10 years ago, but just doesn't have the funds to do now. Our biggest fundraiser every year is the Landmine Classic mountain bike race. This year we had over 500 people out enjoying the trails. Over expenses, which are mostly insurance and arrows and porta potties, every single dime that we took in stays here in the park and is used to make the park better for everyone. Well, we haven't got the final figures, but I would say this year, last year, and the year before alone, we brought over $24,000 into the park. The Landmine Classic has been going on now. This was the 13th year, and it's always been a benefit. This year we beat our record number of attendees, over 500 as I mentioned. We also had a kids event with probably 80 kids. That was not run to make money, it was just run to be fun for the kids. We had kids as young as 2. Picture in your mind the old-fashioned bicycle before they had pedals where you sat on it like a hobby horse and ran with your feet. With giant grins on their face, all the way up to 9 years old where we cut it off. Wompatuck is a fun place, and we just try and make it fun for everyone. Currently, I think as of our last meeting, we have 135 members. You looking at this video segment on community TV are obviously locals. We would hope that you join our organization. What we do physically, we're out in the park almost on a monthly basis doing trail maintenance. Our next trail maintenance day will be on October the 20th. We'll be meeting here at the Visitor Center at 8:30 in the morning. We'll go out and brush back some trails or build a bridge, or I'm not sure exactly what we're going to do. Depending on how many people show up, we'll divide up into groups. It will be a fun day, and we'll even treat you to lunch if you show up.
We always have coffee and pastries before.
And we have coffee and pastries before. Other things that the Friends have done over the years, you'll notice park benches on some of the more popular trails. You'll notice that many of the bridges that would not have supported horses in the past now do because they've been replaced. We've done a lot of painting of buildings. We've donated tools to the park. Anytime that we perceive that that's a need, something that we can do, we try and do it. We've applied for grants. We've gotten $10,000 in recreational trail grants on a number of occasions to do things here in the park. But our long-term vision is to have a park with campground, with hopefully one day a wading pool that everybody can enjoy, and that is, as I said earlier, better than what we have today. Yeah, many of you are aware of the bike path or hiking path that leads from the Cohasset T station right here into Wompatuck. This would be wonderful for people from out of our area, like Boston, to come into our area without using a car and get into the park and enjoy it. Unfortunately, although the bike path is finished and although it's 6 years old, you cross the street in front of the Cohasset T station, ride through Whitney Thayer Woods, and then you get to a chain link fence with barbed wire preventing you from getting into the park. That's because for the last 7 years, we've been waiting for the Department of Conservation and Recreation to do something about a couple of abandoned buildings left over from World War II that are full of asbestos and are kind of hazardous. Whether the DCR will eventually put a fence around them, knock them down, hire a contractor to come in, this is an expensive fix, but it's something that really needs to be done. When it is, surrounding towns will have a traffic-free way to commute to the T station, and as I mentioned earlier, people from out of our area will have a good way to get to the park without having to use a vehicle to get here. I think that's probably the number one priority of the Friends of Wompatuck right now. We're acting in a political manner, which is something we'd prefer not to do. We'd prefer to be advocates, but we're starting to reach out to our legislators and the powers that are in the DCR to get something going. I hope if you're watching this, maybe you'll make a phone call to your local rep and ask them to do something. They are aware of it, and it just needs a kick in the appropriate rear end to get the project completed.
Well said.
Recently, we're trying to get political about the bike path. What we do on a day-to-day basis, we're a volunteer group. We're not on salary. An individual might come in, and if they're out on the trails, almost every time there's a windstorm, there's deadfalls. Every year the trails grow in about 6 or 7 inches, and if somebody's not out there with a pair of hand clippers or a folding saw, you know, the trails go downhill for everybody. So on a daily basis, if you're here as a Friends member, you do minor trail maintenance. Or if it's a large deadfall, a new washout, if you notice a teenage party spot or something that's not right, you report it to staff. And Steve usually gets right on it. We don't really do things as an organization on the daily basis. In other words, we do not have a volunteer here in the visitor center greeting people. But normally when we're here, we all wear a shirt and answer questions and be friendly and make the park a happier place for everyone.
And we work closely with the bike community, since we are both mountain bikers. We work closely with the bike community as a whole, and we try to promote you know, reasonable trail riding, and also, you know, we try to encourage people to bring, like Bill said, to bring a pair of loppers or a trail saw in your pack, since it's easy to throw in there, to get rid of stuff that's on the trail, because that's going to be more of an obstacle to someone on a bike than it is from someone that's walking on the trail. If there's a little stick, it could get caught in the wheel. So we try to encourage people to do that, even people that are not part of Trail Watch, just general members, just to be aware of stuff like that and take care of it as you go along.
The membership consists of a lot of families and a lot of individuals. As in any volunteer organization, the majority of your members really aren't active. They're just members to support the aspirations of the organization, and that's also true with us. Steve mentions that, you know, we might have 30 people show up on a trail day, which is true, and that sounds like a lot of people when you have 130 members. But really, most people who join the Friends join to make a small contribution and just to support the park. We welcome that. rather than having a bunch of mountain bikers doing volunteer work, with an age range of 18 to, 50 or on the average, since we've joined or started the Friends, we have families show up with 5 and 6-year-old kids to do something, and all the way up to very senior citizens in their 80s who are active. And a trail day, if you've never really been out on the trails, would give a new person an opportunity to probably see a part of the park that they'd never seen before. If they help build a bridge or repair a trail, that becomes their bridge and their trail, and they're really invested in the park ever after. I'm one of those senior citizens that I mentioned. I'm not going to be here forever, but what we think we're doing is we're getting a whole bunch of people involved in Wompatuck, and they're going to be the backbone of the Friends and the best advocates for the park going very far into the future. We just missed the perfect interview subjects before we set the camera up. 2 people, a couple, rode in on their mountain bikes, and we mentioned what was going on. This woman went on for about 5 minutes about, wow, I'm so lucky to have this in my community. This is an amazing local resource. I'm here all the time with my kids. I can't imagine how different our town would be if Wompatuck wasn't part of it. And I tend to agree with that.
I think the South Shore in general, I think it's a great jewel of the South Shore. I think there's a lot of other parks in the South Shore, but this is definitely a fun place to be for a lot of people. Yeah. And it's relatively safe. I mean, you can be out there and you can find your way around pretty easily with the maps and with the markers on the trees. And you really can't get lost. It's pretty hard to get lost in here, even on your own, but there are always maps at the visitor center.
Yeah. As Steve said, it's a very safe park. The fact that there are people out there with eyes, we're not law enforcement, tends to push people who might do the wrong thing into some other park someplace else that is not staffed. We're quite proud of that program, and it's a lot of fun. If you'd like to get involved in it, contact the Friends. Steve Gammon's idea was to involve the whole community of park users in one organization. So we had a couple of formation meetings and worked for a couple of years to get 501c3 status, which allows us to ask for grants, and the Friends got going. I would say that 95% of the members of the Friends are not mountain bikers, but they are park advocates. We all share the same vision, which is for a better Wompatuck in the future than we have to enjoy today.
Hi, my name is Bob Crow. This is my wife Kim, and our new addition to the family, Charlotte. We absolutely love Wompatuck for the diversity of it.
Hi, my name is George, and I actually used to come here to the Wompatuck State Park, and we'd camp along with myself, my cousins, and various other family members. We'd spend a few nights. We'd be able to enjoy the outside, and specifically as kids, we'd go down by the transfer station and make use of skateboarding or roller skating around that area.
Hey, my name's Brian Hebert. I actually made this whole video. I work at HCAM, but I'm also an avid Wompatuck Park user. I come here biking almost every weekend. I use my GoPro for many different shots that I can get. I mean, I love the park. It's a beautiful park. It's a great asset to have in Hingham. So I'm actually going to go enjoy the park some more right now. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video and see you on the next Getting to Know.